When Charles dies, Camilla doesn't just lose a husband. She loses the 3 letters standing between her and Mrs. Parker Bowles. One of the 15 was signed in August 1996 with Diana's name on it. The London Gazette printed it that week. The House of Commons Library describes it in one line: conferred by letters patent, removed by the same instrument. Every letter of her title traces back to one signature. When that hand stops, the next is Diana's son. 14 when paper took his mother's HRH. 15 when he walked behind her coffin. 15 documents procedural to devastating. Number 10 is the 11-day window. Number 15 corrects the record. Number 1, November 30th, 1917, the paper fence. Start with the document everything hangs from. The one that settled 64 years before Diana walked into St. Paul's, that one man with one pen draws the line around who is royal. Number 1, November 30th, 1917, George V. One instrument defining who carries the style Royal Highness. Children of the sovereign, children of his sons, one grandson. That's the whole list. That's the fence drawn by one man, the paper fence. Not stone, not law. Paper. And paper is what Diana was removed with. No vote, no court, no committee. Look, everyone holding an HRH tonight, Diana included once, holds it because a monarch said so. July 1981. The fence opens for a 20-year-old kindergarten assistant named Diana Spencer. 15 years later, it closes behind her, and she's curtsying to people who used to curtsy to her. Nothing about the fence changed, only the hand on the gate. The question was never whether a style can move. It was always, who holds the pen? In 1937, one holder proved it in the harshest way going. Number 2, 27th of May, 1937, the same page clause. Number 2, and the cruelest document in the archive. May 1937, Edward VIII is created Duke of Windsor and keeps the style Royal Highness. Same document, next clause. His wife and any descendants don't. Think about that for a second. One document, one signature. A man keeps his royal style, and the woman he married is written out in the next clause. Call it the same page clause. The most useful precedent in this archive, and almost nobody's heard of it. And here's why it matters more than anything in this video. Once a monarch's done it once, it's settled law, he can do it again. No appeal, no court, no vote. Which is exactly how they reached Diana 59 years later. One sheet, one seal, 1 week, and the most famous woman in the world was no longer Her Royal Highness. Wallis Simpson never held an HRH for a day of her life and spent 35 years watching rooms curtsy to her husband and not to her. Diana spent her last year doing exactly that at her own son's school events. So here's the thing. Whenever anyone tells you this could never be done, the answer already exists. Dated, sealed, published. It just hasn't been pointed that way for 89 years, and an instrument that can withhold a style can create one. Number 3, October 22nd, 1948, the pen pointed back. Number 3, and the second half rests on it. October 1948. George VI issues letters patent, so Princess Elizabeth's children will be born with the style Royal Highness. Under the 1917 rule, they wouldn't have qualified. Elizabeth was a daughter, not a son. So it changed. Not by Parliament, not by any court. A fresh instrument weeks before Charles was born. 1917 built the fence. 1937 pushed a woman outside. 1948 pulled a child inside. And the child pulled inside. In 1948 was Charles, who, 48 years later, stood on the other side of the instrument that pushed Diana out. Same office, same seal, 3 outcomes. The fence is not a law of nature. It is a decision, renewed by whoever wears the crown. In 1996, it was aimed at Diana, which brings the instrument you watched happen with your own eyes. Number 4, August 21st, 1996, the 7-day removal. Number 4, the hinge. August 21st, 1996, letters patent declare a divorced wife of a British prince loses the style Royal Highness. A week later, the divorce is absolute and she stops being Her Royal Highness. Say those two sentences slowly. She kept the title. She lost the style. Hear the difference? Call it the 7-day removal. The whole elapsed time between signature and effect. From that day, she was Diana, Princess of Wales, without the 3 letters and without the word "the" in front. 36 years old, mother of the next 2 kings. Let me say that again. No court, no vote, no consent from her. And get this, because everything after depends on it. It happened in living memory to the most famous woman in the world, and the country absorbed it in a week. So that's 4 down, and now you know the machine is real. It built the fence, pushed a woman out, pulled a child in, and took 3 letters off the mother of a future king. 11 left, and everyone is about what happens when the pen changes hands. I want to get to number 10, the 11 days that decide whether any of this happens before a funeral. But first, 5 through 8. There's a promise on the public record from 2005 made about Diana's replacement that most people have forgotten. And here's what I didn't tell you about that window. It already ran once, in 2022, and nobody noticed what was happening inside it. Keep number 15 in mind too, because the thing everybody gets wrong about giving Diana her letters back isn't legal. It's arithmetic, and it's uncomfortable. Number 5. February 10th, 2005. The Broken Promise. Number 5. And here's the promise almost nobody remembers. February 10th, 2005. Engagement Day. Clarence House states it plainly. Camilla will be HRH, the Duchess of Cornwall, and when Charles exceeds, Princess Consort. Not Queen, Princess Consort. Those were the words. That was the arrangement offered for accepting the marriage. It was in the official announcement, reported everywhere, and then quietly set aside. The public came around to a specific promise, and it wasn't kept. A promise about Diana's replacement in Diana's title, 8 years after Diana was buried. Hold on for number 12 because that's where you find out what the paperwork looked like the afternoon they did it to her. 2 months later, the law handed Camilla something she chose not to use. Number 6, April 9th, 2005. The title she never touched. Number 6. 2 months after that promise, the law handed her Diana's exact title. April 9th, 2005. Windsor Guildhall. Camilla marries the Prince of Wales, and in that second, she legally becomes Princess of Wales. Automatically. No instrument required. Not one. She never used it. She was styled Duchess of Cornwall instead, and the reason given was Diana. The country wasn't ready to hear that title on another woman, and the palace knew it. Sit with that admission. A title she held in law from her wedding day, shelved 18 years because of public feeling about Diana. 8 years dead, and still stronger than the law. Entitled in law, blocked by memory. Can you imagine being handed a title and not daring to use it? Hold that word. Sentiment. It comes back at number 15. And if sentiment can suspend a title, the law grants automatically. The reverse answers itself. What happens when sentiment turns and the instrument's available? In 2022, somebody found out. Number 7, February 5th, 2022. The Sincere Wish. Number 7. 17 years that promise held. Then one paragraph ended it. February 5th, 2022. 70 years to the day since her own accession, Elizabeth II issues a message. Her sincere wish that when her son exceeds, Camilla be known as Queen Consort. Buckingham Palace published it, and that was that. Not an act of Parliament, not a change in the law, a wish from a 95-year-old woman 7 months before her death, from a promise to the nation to a sentence in a letter. In 1996, one instrument moved what Diana had been guaranteed by marriage. Stop and notice the pattern. Nothing here is fixed. Every arrangement around this woman's title has been rewritten by whoever held the position to do it. In September 2022, that position changed hands, and it'll change hands again on a timetable nobody controls. Number 8, May 6th, 2023, the vanishing word. Number 8, now watch a word disappear. May 6th, 2023. Westminster Abbey. Camilla is crowned beside Charles, and afterwards official material starts saying, Queen Camilla. The qualifier just went, not by proclamation, not by sealed instrument, by usage settling into the record, and usage that settles in can settle out. What arrives without paper can leave without paper. And notice what Diana never had, a single line of paper protecting anything. Her title came with a wedding and left with a signature. The style, HRH, is different. That one rests on an instrument, the same class that reached Diana in 1996, which is why another instrument can reach it, which brings us to the question everyone clicked for. How fast can a new king move? Number 9, September 8th, 2022, the first hour, honestly. Number 9, and honestly, this is the one I slowed down on. The title makes a claim, and this is where I test it. We're halfway. And here's what's still coming, because the back half is where this stops being history. The 11 days nobody talks about. The afternoon a clerk ended Diana with a stamp. And the one thing Camilla owns with no protection at all. Accession is instantaneous. The moment Elizabeth died on the 8th of September, 2022, Charles was king, and Diana's son became heir in the same second. No gap, no ceremony. So the first hour is real. A sovereign's authority over styles exists from minute 1, but the machinery is slower. The Accession Council met 2 days later, televised. Millions watched. Nobody clocked what it meant. So if you're picturing a signature at dawn, adjust it. The power's immediate. The sealed document takes a working day or two. First hour is when he can decide. First week is when the paper exists. The 1996 instrument that took Diana's 3 letters was drawn, sealed, and gazetted inside a week, which leaves one question. How much time is there before the funeral? Number 10, 8 to 19, September 2022. The 11-day window, number 10. This is the window in the title. Call it the 11-day window. Elizabeth died on the 8th of September, 2022. Her funeral was on the 19th. Count them. 11 days, national mourning, lying in state, processions and arrivals. And inside all of it, the new king was already signing, already receiving, already reigning. Charles held audiences and ran the crown's business while his mother lay in Westminster Hall. Think about that image. Diana's son inherits the same window, and he already knows what it can be used for. So before the funeral isn't a figure of speech. It happened once already, on a timetable anyone can check, and everything here fits inside it with room to spare. The only question's whether a new king would want the country's first sight of his reign to be that. And here's the thing, there's a version where he doesn't sign it himself. That's number 11, 10 down, all dated, all published, all sitting where anyone can find them. The first 10 prove the machine exists. The last 5 show where it goes, and that's where Diana's name comes back into the record. Look, just follow one sheet of paper. 11, 12, and 13 are one document at 3 stages. Who signs it? Where it becomes real. Where the country reads it. A sheet exactly like it made that journey in 1996 with Diana's name on it. Then number 14 is the one limit on a king's power, and number 15 is the one everybody gets wrong about Diana. And the piece I've held back is this. The obstacle isn't the palace. It isn't Parliament. It's a date. Number 11, December 2022. The hand that signs. Number 11, Stage 1 is the hand that signs. And in 2022, Parliament quietly widened it. The Councillors of State Act added Princess Anne and Prince Edward to those who can act for the sovereign. Look at who that is. Anne, the woman who drove to Balmoral the night Diana died and stayed with the boys. Of everyone in that building, she's the least likely to be sentimental about this, and she's William's closest ally. Now I know what you're thinking. Counselors act under specific authorization, and the biggest constitutional acts stay with the sovereign personally. But Parliament reaching in at the exact moment a new reign began tells you the machinery isn't frozen. Edited against Diana in 1996, edited again in 2022. Notice a pattern? It gets edited whenever somebody wants it edited. That's stage 1, the hand. Now follow the paper to stage 2. Number 12, the Crown Office, where paper becomes real. Number 12, and this is where Diana's name went. Letters patent aren't an email. They pass under the Great Seal, prepared through the Crown Office as a physical sealed document, which is why nothing here happens by press release. 29 years of whisper about Diana, and the one thing that changed her life was a sealed sheet of paper. Rumor can't be filed. A sealed instrument can. In August 1996, a sheet went through that office, took that seal, and by the time it came out, Diana was no longer Her Royal Highness. Picture the actual afternoon, a clerk in a government building in London, wax, a press, a signature already dry, no ceremony, nobody watching, minutes. Somewhere in that building is the record of the few minutes it took to end the most famous woman in the world's right to be called Royal Highness. And the man who did it had never met her. That's stage 2, the seal. And once a document has it, there's one more place it has to go. We're almost there. 2 more, and you'll see exactly what a correction to Diana's record looks like, and why it isn't the fantasy most people think. Number 13, the London Gazette, the public record. Number 13, stage 3 is where the country reads it. Letters patent are published in the London Gazette. The 1917 instrument is there. The 1996 one is there. Anyone can read them tonight. And once you've read the 1996 entry, the sentence about Diana, in flat civil service English, you'll never hear the words letters patent the same way again. Go and find it. 4 lines long. No emotion, no explanation, no acknowledgement of who she was or the 2 boys asleep upstairs while it was drafted. 4 lines, and a woman lost the name she'd carried 15 years. Nobody has ever gone back and added a single word. So the day it happens, it appears in the Gazette. Same journal, same form as the one that removed Diana's 3 letters. Read these 3 lines slowly. Same journal, same instrument class, opposite direction. That's stage 3. The record, the end of the road. In 1996, that road ended with a sentence about Diana that sat there, unamended, for 30 years. The same road runs the other way, and the man who'd send a sheet back down it is the boy who was 14 when the one about Diana went out. Which brings us to the one thing a king can't do alone. Number 14, the statute wall, what a king cannot take. Number 14, here's the line nobody crosses. And it's the reason the rest of this is coming. Styles sit under the prerogative. Peerages do not. A dukedom, an earldom, any title in the peerage. Those sit in statute, and removing one's a parliamentary matter, not a royal one. Call it the statute wall. A sovereign moves a style in days. Removing a peerage needs Westminster, and Westminster's almost never done it. Almost never. If you've been waiting on this as long as most people watching, you deserve the real version, not the comfortable one. The HRH is reachable. The prerogative covers it and the precedent's there. Now turn that around, because this is the part nobody says out loud. Every other title in this family is protected by Parliament. Everyone needs a vote, a debate, a building full of people who have to agree. Can you imagine getting that through? The style, the 3 letters, is the one thing a single person can move alone, in an afternoon with nobody's permission. Of everything Camilla holds, the least protected thing she owns is the exact thing they took from Diana in 7 days. The wall protects her dukedoms. It doesn't protect the letters. And the letters are the only part that ever mattered. Let that land. William has never once said he'll do it. He's also never once said he won't. Number 15, the correction. What gets hers back really means. Number 15, the last one and the honest one. Here's what most people do with this and why it fails them. They picture a ceremony, a moment where 3 letters are handed back and something is finally put right. Then they read that Diana died on the 31st of August, 1997. The hope collapses in one sentence, and they stop asking. So say the true thing first. Nobody can hand 3 letters to a woman gone 29 years, and any channel telling you otherwise is selling you something. Now be exact about what restoration would be. It isn't a return, it's a correction. How she's styled on official material, how she's named on memorials, what the Gazette says about her. It isn't a small thing, it's the whole thing. If you're the kind of person who never quite let this go, here's what you were angry about. The complaint was never that Diana lost a courtesy. It was that an institution wrote a judgment about her into the permanent record and never took it back. A restoration is that judgment withdrawn. Same journal, same office at the request of her son. The woman doesn't come back, but the verdict does. Those are the 15 instruments that decide whether Camilla keeps 3 letters and whether Diana gets hers back. But there's one thing that can make every single one of them worthless, and it isn't Parliament, and it isn't the law. It's the one virtue everybody praises this family for: restraint. If you want the full accounting of what changes for Camilla the day King Charles dies, every home, every jewel, every seat, that video is right here.